Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mei Leaf and welcome to another episode of Reviewing Supermarket Teas. In this series, I blind taste teas purchased from supermarkets, not specialty tea shops, and I try to guess what the tea is, the price point, and I score the tea from 0, poison, all the way to 10. 10 pinnacle tea means that it would be a tea that I would actually select for the Mei Leaf collection. Now, we all know that supermarket buyers have a very different set of criteria when purchasing compared with a specialist tea seller like us. They have different clients, they have to buy in much larger volumes, and they have to be very price conscious to maximize the value of their shelf space. So we never expect supermarkets to be able to match the quality of specialty tea, but we know that they can generally do better and offer more people a chance to experience some decent quality tea. And the purpose of these videos, apart from having some fun, is to show respect to the supermarkets that are doing a good job and give some critical encouragement to those who need to step up their tea sourcing game to provide a better overall quality for their clients. Usually we have tea heads from around the world sending us tea from their local supermarkets, but this time we thought we would test out another UK supermarket. The UK has been forced into another lockdown, and a lot of people, many people, are buying their food online. They're doing their food shopping online. So we thought that we would try out the tea offerings from a very popular online supermarket in the UK called Ocado. So what we did is I asked Celine to add 3 teas to our shopping basket for review. I don't know what they are. And I specifically asked her to really try to choose the top quality, unscented teas that were on offer for the best possible chance of some good tea. It's interesting because online supermarkets are going to have a different approach potentially to your standard supermarkets. My thinking is that perhaps with less pressure on making actual physical high street shelf space earn the supermarket money and having larger, cheaper warehouse space, they may have some more specialist and interesting teas. That's just a guess. Maybe that's the case. Let's dive in. So Celine has written all of the information here on the teas. She's written the scope information if they provide the scope. Usually that's not the case. So here we go. Tea number 1. Ready, everybody? Come on. So this is meant to be the top quality that Ocado has to offer. Well, that's not a good start. Here we go. This looks like a tea bag tea that she has opened. The smell coming off it is actually not bad. It smells like, smells like a hojicha, so a Japanese roasted green tea. Yeah, it smells like a hojicha. It smells slightly scented in a weird way. Like it's got some sort of vanilla, but it's very, very light. So that might just be part of the tea. It doesn't smell like it's overtly scented. So I'm going to guess that this is a hojicha. It's a tea bag cut. You can see that. So that means that I have to be very careful in terms of the brewing because it's going to extract very, very quickly. But I have to say with hojichas, it's going to be very difficult for them to mess up a hojicha. Hojicha is one of those safe teas. What I mean by that is I would be very surprised if there was a hojicha out there that we could buy that would be sort of less than, I don't know, in terms of the scoring system, less than sort of 4 to 5, so meh to worth infusing. They're just generally, hojicha is a very safe bet. It's very unlikely that you're going to get a very icky tea. Obviously, you want higher quality hojicha, and what I define by higher quality hojicha, let me just heat this up, is for the tea to exhibit some nuance. So hojicha obviously has that sort of very nice, warming, roasted taste. Usually has some sort of slightly sort of savory notes in there, like a bit like soy sauce or Japanese rice cracker nuttiness in the tea. But what I look for in my hojicha is that little extra nuance, something different, something that maybe is a little bit bright or a little bit extra creamy or a little bit fresher. You know, there needs to be something that just sort of makes it a bit more interesting. Right, as you can see, am brewing dry style here. just because I fancy a bit of a change. So you can see this is clearly a tea. I would be amazed if this was not in a tea bag. I mean, if it wasn't in a tea bag, then we've got something wrong here. So this was probably a tea bag that Celine has opened up. Let's just move this out the way a little bit. Okay, now, here we go. Let's put this in here and let's give it a good smell. Let me do it this way. When you're brewing dry style, you've got to be a little bit more careful, well, a lot more careful, especially for me, as you know, I'm not the, let's see, the most elegant of brewers. Okay, here we go. Sniff of tea number 1, almost certainly a hojicha. Yeah, definitely a hojicha. And it's still got that little interesting twang to it that I don't think it's not a positive. It smells like it maybe had been stored near or next to scented teas. It's like, well, no, actually, I tell you what it is. It smells like it's old. And when you have old green teas, then I've done it, I've said it in another video, so I'll try and find it and put a link in the description below. But there's a sort of cherry blossom smell that comes out of older green teas. And sometimes that can be pleasant, but sometimes it sort of has a sort of stale, floral, fruity note to it. And it's very difficult for me to describe, but that is a telltale marker for very, very old teas, old green teas. And this has that smell. It has the smell of a green tea which almost wasn't roasted at its sort of younger age, sort of at the year of production, but it was almost like it was allowed to age and then, or stored and then roasted afterwards. So I sort of note in the smell maybe a gap between the finishing of the green tea and then the roasting of the green tea. I might be wrong. It's a bit of a wild guess, that one, but you know. Let's see. Okay, so I don't think that I'm going to be rinsing this because this is a tea bag cut. I've got 95-degree water here, which should be fine. And I'm definitely going to be putting this through a filter, for sure. And we don't need to brew it for a long time, but I'm only going to do 1 infusion here. And so I'm going to brew it a little bit stronger just to make sure that we get a real sense of the tea. I don't want to brew it too weak and then sort of feel like I didn't judge it properly. And I'm pretty good at overbrewing teas and tasting through the naturally sort of astringent and extra sort of bite that overbrewed teas have to assess the quality. That's something that a lot of tea buyers out there will know. You know, we tend to overbrew our teas just to sort of accentuate the bad and the good. You can see a lot of residue there, but that's normal. That's because it is a tea bag cut tea. Okay, the color of it does not look appealing. You can see one of the problems with tea bag cut teas is this. You're going to get this very, very cloudy effect. I'll show you. So you can see it's got a very sort of, is it focused? Focus, son. Yeah, very cloudy effect. Not very nice, but you can't hold that against the tea, just the sort of production method or the style of finishing the tea. Obviously, this is designed for tea bags. Okay, tea number 1 from Ocado, a hojicha, no doubt from Japan. So we've already sort of established the tea type, a roasted green tea from Japan. Let's see what it's like. As I said, it's kind of hard to screw up a hojicha. So it's drinkable. It's a drinkable tea. The texture on it, at the beginning it's medium, but then it does go to the dryness that I would expect from that tea bag cut tea. It definitely has a stored taste to it. And I don't know if that's storage between the green to the roast or if it's a storage just afterwards, probably a bit of both. And this has that sort of stale taste, and also you pick it up as a sort of general dustiness in the finish, a sort of scratchiness and emptiness in the finish, like all of the vibrancy of the tea has dissipated. So on the start, it's a perfectly drinkable tea. It's got that sort of medium texture and flavor notes, clearly that roasted note. It has got that sort of Japanese rice cracker, soy cracker, soy sauce note. It has got a little bit of caramel, like dark caramel in there. A little bit of like vanilla fudge. But nothing much else. And this is what I mean. Very little nuance or no nuance. There's no interesting special note to the tea that sort of raises your eyebrow. It is straight ahead soy sauce, caramel. You would drink it. I would finish my cup. I mean, I would have no problem drinking it. It's a decent quality tea. Well, that's probably being a bit too nice about it. It's sufficient at what it's trying to do. Score on this. Let's see. It's above a meh. Is it worth reinfusing? Yeah. Okay, it's worth reinfusing. There's a sort of sourness that's coming on the sides of my tongue that I've accentuated because of the fact that it has been brewed a little bit over. So I have to take that into account, but it's definitely there. Ooh, yeah. What does that smell? There's a sort of stinky tofu smell in this. For those of you who've walked around China and you've experienced that whiff of stinky tofu, a stinky tofu vendor, you will know what I mean. It's not that strong, but it's just in the background, a little stinky tofu. So that's fermented soy. Yeah, the smell of the wet leaf is dropping the score down a little bit here. Is it worth reinfusing? You know, I'm feeling generous. It's a new year. I give it a 5.2. 5.2. It's worth reinfusing, but it's only just worth reinfusing. I don't think that I would. I'm being generous, I think, but like let's be generous with it. I think it's, you know, it's a decent quality tea. It's clearly, you know, a hojicha from Japan. Price point on this, they're relatively cheap hojichas, usually around sort of 10, 12 cents a gram, something like that. So Japanese hojicha, 10 to 12 cents a gram, scratchy in my throat. I've done my score. I can't change it now, but yeah, I'm being nice, I think. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what this is. This is hojicha T1, so no information on scope apart from that it's from Japan, and 10 cents a gram. So yeah, straight down the line, nothing to write home about, but hey, you know, not something that to make my stomach turn. Fortunately for me, maybe unfortunately for you, because I'm sure a lot of you want to see some duds here, but it's all right. You know what? I'm even having another sip, and we're moving on to tea number 2. All right, tea number 2. My mouth is quite dry, quite astringent. So yes, I definitely have been generous to that one, but you know, it's okay. I'll live with that one. All right, so number 2. Okay, better. This, okay, what is this tea? So at first glance of this tea, it looks like an Oolong. It looks like an Eastern Beauty. So you can see you've got many colors here. You've got these sort of orange colors, a larger leaf. You've got the sort of spindly little buds here, and then you've got dark tea. So it's got the 5-color look of an Eastern Beauty, Oriental Beauty. It could potentially be a Darjeeling, so that's possible. I'm edging towards, if it was a Darjeeling, I'd expect it to be a bit greener. Yeah, I think this is a Baihao Oolong or Oriental Beauty or Eastern Beauty or Dongfang Mei Ren or Braggers tea or 5-color tea, however you want to call it. It looks like that, and I'll know more when I smell it. Let me just warm this porcelain pot up and get the temperature up to about 90 degrees. That's what we want here. And let's see if the smell reveals anything. So I'm smelling once it goes into a warm pot, rather than trying to get an understanding of it from the dry, because from the dry, and this is one of the things that most sort of people who just start getting into tea do wrong, I mean, you can smell the dry leaf like this, it's not a problem, but you're not going to really get an assessment of quality until it hits the hot pot or Gaiwan. And oftentimes you can be deceived and you can think that a tea doesn't really have much, but then once it gets acquainted with some heat, then it's going to improve. Now, the smell here is definitely of the Eastern Beauty ilk. Let's see how sort of floral and fruity it is, because that's always the marker for me. Is, you know, it's going to be close to a black tea in its sort of strength. However, you want to have that particular smell that Oriental or Eastern Beauty has, and it doesn't have to be bug bitten. This is one of those things. I've done videos about Eastern Beauty, and I've done videos about bug bitten tea, so I'll put links in the description below. A lot of most Eastern Beauties on the market claim to be bug bitten. They don't have to be to have this aroma, or to have a really good aroma, just through the processing and just through the cultivar and just through the fact that a field may have been bitten previously by bugs. You can generate a lot of aroma. Obviously, if it is bitten by bugs on that year, then you get this extra kick of that hot trianol, that honey-like note. So let's have a sniff. So the first thing that I got on the nose was a little bit of a harsh nail varnish remover is too strong. But like if you really sort of have a very, very light version of that, quite hard on the nose. I'm not saying that there's chemical in it, but the storage again, it again smells stored. It smells like it's almost had a little bit of fermentation in it. It's got a chocolate aroma. It's got a nutty sort of classic black tea from the subcontinent aroma, sort of chocolatey, nutty, and poppy seed like. But there is also that fruit coming through, and the fruit is, yeah, I mean, it has some sort of citronella note. It has a bit of a little bit of underripe peach, apricot. It's got a little bit of that apricot kernel, moving into almond. So I'm picking up the fruits that I would expect from an Eastern Beauty, albeit they are a little bit dulled down from the dry leaf. But let's hit it with water now and see how that changes things. So if this is a high quality Eastern Beauty, then you would expect my face when I smell this to just be in rapture, right? Because it is one of the most incredible smelling teas out there. Let's see. No, not in rapture. Disappointing. Okay, as the steam dissipates, it starts to come out a little bit more. I'm getting, there's some weird things. So I'm going to tell you the good things first. So, yeah, peach, apricot, little bit of a cherry note. However, there is this weird, like I said it before, this sort of varnish note. And I can't quite put my finger on it. It reminds me of a varnished wood, but that is still not dry. So it's still got a little bit of a harsh, my nose feels like it's being assaulted a little bit with a harsh note, but overall it's a good quality tea. It's, you know, it's decent. It smells like it is an Eastern Beauty and not a Darjeeling. I would be very surprised if it wasn't. It's got a slight mothball-y note happening as well. Maybe that's more what I'm talking about. It's kind of like got a stored smell to it that mothball has that naphthalene. It's sort of, it's a bit, you know, chemically. Even though it's not got chemicals, you know, added, I'm sure of that, but it has a mothball-y note. They can happen naturally with teas. They just sort of develop that compound. I think it's naphthalene. They develop those sort of compounds through the processing and the storage. But overall, it's a decent quality tea. I don't want you to get the wrong impression that it's some, you know, chemical-laden tea. It definitely smells decent. I'm actually quite looking forward to tasting this to see if those fruity notes come out and to see what's happening with the texture. Now, I overfilled that, didn't I, when I put this lid on? Oh, gentle. Just. I don't need to filter this because there's a filter in the pot, and these are large leaves, or they're full leaves. So the quality of the leaf looked pretty good. Eastern Beauty or Oriental Beauty or Dongfang Mei Ren, it's a difficult one to give you visual quality markers on, because I have found that you can have very good looking teas, classically good looking teas with lots of buds and smaller leaves, and that has a particular flavor note that I don't particularly love with Eastern Beauty, and I sort of have discussions with other tea lovers out there, and we have different opinions. I tend to look for teas that have a bit more of a mix. I think that the larger leaves contribute a lot to high quality tea, and even though those may be rougher pickings, I think that they contribute a lot to Eastern Beauty, and that's true for a lot of teas, I have to say. You know, people sort of tend to be a bit judgmental when they see sort of coarser leaves in there, but coarser leaves present a lot of texture, and they can present a lot of interesting flavor notes, especially when blended with the smaller leaves, the finer leaves, and the buds. Okay, let's have one last sniff of those wet leaves. Okay, so more of the black tea astringency is coming through now. I'm picking up a lot of black tea note and very little of the fruit, but that's okay, because oftentimes you get that with Oriental Beauties, and the liquor is going to have a lot more of that fruitiness. You can see the liquor is a lot clearer because this is not a tea bag cut. Okay, give it a taste. Nice looking liquor. Very clear, very clean, very bright. Here we go. Hoping for the best. Eastern Beauty, I think, from Ocado. Texture is disappointingly thin. I was hoping for a bit more syrupiness, a bit more sort of luxury, a bit more voluptuousness in the mouth. Texture is, yeah, body is thin. Texture is thin. Texture is dry. Not great in terms of physical texture. Now let's focus on taste. breathe out through the nose. I'm getting some sort of wine gums, muscatel note, which is what we would want. So I am getting that sort of wininess happening. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Not very honeyed though, so I'm missing the sweet honeyed syrupy note that I'd be looking for in an Eastern Beauty. It has a sort of bright, nice, bright, bracing, quenching black tea note. Nice. Unlike the first tea, it's not leaving me with any sort of sourness, which is long lasting. So it's clean. It's a well-produced, clean tea. Nothing sort of offensive about it. Again, a decent drinkable tea. It has still got that sort of slightly stale storage note happening, and it's not leaving me with any sweetness, and it's not giving me this aromatic uprush of bouquet of citrus, and while the muscatel is there, it's not bright enough, it's not strong enough. I was hoping for more sort of zesty roses, elderflowers, citronella, muscat, peach. I was hoping for more, and it's sort of extremely subtle in its presence. It's much more of a bright black tea with a little bit of fruit. So score on this, yes, it is worth reinfusing. It is not stashable, but it's a 5.6. 5.6 on this one. Let's see what it is. Oh, price point. Eastern Beauties are expensive teas. This is clearly a sort of low to medium version of an Eastern Beauty. So 25 cents a gram, I'm guessing 25 cents a gram, because I'm imagining that they're going to be boosting up the price, because it's not that often that you see Eastern Beauty on supermarket shelves. And again, this shows you that online supermarkets may have a little bit more wiggle room in terms of having some warehouse space for some more specialty teas. Here we go. Tea number two. Tea number two. Eastern Beauty Oolong. Yep. No information apart from Taiwanese, and 24 cents a gram. What did I say? I said 25 cents a gram. So actually pretty close on that one. Yeah, you know, 5 point, what did I do? 5.1 or 5.2? Can't remember, but a low 5 and a medium 5, 5.6. You know, Ocado's doing okay, but I hope for better things in tea number 3. Okay, tea number 3. So come on now. End with a finale, and knowing Celine, she's gonna leave the best till last or the worst till last. You know, she's a bit sneaky like that. So let's see. I hope that this is gonna be a specialty. I asked her, as I said, to find the best that Ocado has to offer. The first two, okay, not bad, but you know, who wants okay? You want it to be something special. Okay, so let's do this. I'll let you see it first. How about that? You can judge it. Any good? Oh no. No. Celine. Right, this looks like a bog standard Chinese green tea, like proper bog standard. Let's look at the color of it. Very lackluster, gray, doesn't have much vibrancy to it in terms of the color. The style of tea is this sort of slightly pearl-shaped tea. Sort of, you could sort of throw it under the gunpowder, although that would be a little bit insulting to higher quality gunpowder teas. You can see some twigs in here, but you know, we'll let that pass. Just yeah, there's a fair amount of twigs in here, unfortunately. Wow, yeah, not great actually. So not a good looking tea at all. It looks like a Chinese green tea straight down the line. You buy it in big packs, you know, big volume Chinese green tea, probably from Zhejiang province in China, although it could come from other provinces. And yeah, I don't know why she made this the last tea, because that actually looks a lot worse than the first one. Maybe that's her point. Okay, I've already put some water in here. I'm gonna bump the water temperature up to 85 degrees Celsius. And let's see see, I got my cute little pot out and everything, hoping for a specialty. Okay, let's just get some of it. I'm not gonna put all of this in because this pot is not that big. That should do. Okay. Prepare to be amazed at how wrong I was and how wonderful this tea actually smells. That's what I'm hoping for. Here we go. Oh, don't overdo the water. Okay, here we go. Oh, come on. Again, smells like it's been stored for about 5 years somewhere. Really, really bad stored tea. Much more extreme than the last two. Just terrible storage. It smells like... What is that smell? It smells like, and I'm going to say something which sounds nice. It smells like a cherry cough sweet note. But the bit that says cough sweet, so cherry cough sweet, right? So like that slightly medicinal smell, like almost like a disinfectant. Again, not bleach, but like a medicinal smell, similar to the mothball-y note that I was getting in a previous tea. That's there. Yes, it's got a little cherry note, but again, this is that sakura, that cherry blossom note that I always associate with very old, not very well stored green teas. Some people might like that. I really don't. Because it smells nice on the nose, but I know when I get that smell that when I brew it, it's going to have a stale taste. Okay. Just going to cool this down. So this was 90 degrees. So I'm just going to bring it down by pouring it into the Gongdao first. And I am going to give it a quick rinse. And we will see how that rinse changes it. Yeah, you see that's gone. And now I'm just getting straight up gym shoes, like that sort of you know, the smell of sort of sneakers or trainers that are a little bit old, like, so it's still got a bit of that vinyl smell, but also a little bit of that musty, socky, not rotten, nothing like extremely offensive, but just a smell of old trainers. No. And that cherry blossom smell, that sakura smell, has just dissipated quite dramatically. This little teapot has more water than you think. Okay, so let's hope that it's gonna bring something new to the table, something that I'm not expecting. Again, just smells like an old Chinese green tea that was never particularly high quality at the beginning, and is certainly not benefited from sitting in warehouses and in packages. And this is one of the problems, of course, with supermarkets. They have to buy in larger volumes, so they're buying sort of long shelf life teas, and they're storing them for the maximum of their shelf life. And there's no expiry date for tea, but there is certainly best before for teas, especially green teas. Obviously, as you know, some teas improve with age. So, okay, the liquor is a bit a bit better than I would have thought it would be. It has a brightness to it. It has a golden, sort of nice golden nature to it. It's got a lot of activity in there, but that activity looks more like bits rather than sort of fur from buds or something. But, you know, it has a thickness about it as well. So I may be being a bit harsh on it. Only time will tell. And that time is right about now. Here we go. Yeah, you can see it's got some thickness to it, although it's got a little bit of a weird little oiliness on top. Okay, here we go. Cheers, everybody. Ocado's Chinese green tea. Texture is medium. Finish is extremely boring. Very, very, yeah, it's dry. At the beginning, when I first sipped it, I thought, oh, okay, there's nothing offensive here. But there is nothing here. This is an empty tea. Come on, give me some flavor. No, just a random. It tastes like it's the 7th infusion of this tea. In fact, I'm putting it back because I feel like it needs maybe a little bit more. I'm getting, yeah, mothballs. I'm getting a mothball aroma through the nose. Very, very dusty dry finish. Not dry as in like, you know, there's certain drynesses which are really alluring, which are lovely. You know, you get this quench and this physicality, and it has an excitement. But then there's the feeling as if you've sort of licked talcum powder. It's just this granular dustiness on the mouth is just unpleasant. Right. Giving you a chance, green tea. Come on, do something. Show me some flavor. This is probably the most flavorless tea I've had in one of my supermarket teas. And okay, I've had some really bad flavored teas, which, you know, at least this isn't like an awful flavor, but it's just got nothing. In some ways, that's worse. It's totally characterless. It's weird. It tastes like nothing. It tastes like, okay, if I went to a Chinese restaurant and I ordered a green tea, which, you know, sometimes you do, even though you know that they're gonna bring out these kinds of teas, and they'll put like a teaspoon in a big pot of water. And, you know, you sit there and you're just sort of eating your food, and it's just like warm water with a little bit of flavor. This is exactly like that. It tastes like a very nothingy warm water with a little bit of dryness and bites to it. But again, very granular and right on the tip of my tongue. I feel like I've sort of dipped the tip of my tongue in like a very fine sand or cornmeal, you know? It's sort of an unpleasant, dry, granular note to it. And that's going all the way to the back of my throat. Oh, Celine picked the worst for last, clearly. Right to the back of my throat, I'm getting this, I feel like I've walked through a desert, I'm parched, and I feel like it's like sand is stuck to my throat and to my tongue. Oh, this is getting worse. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And the taste with the overbrew or the extra brew is just rancid. It's got a rancid taste to it. It's got a sour, awful sourness that is persistent. It's just staying and staying and staying. This is worse than those Chinese restaurant teas. Awful. Ooh. Yeah, see, Celine gave you the entertainment. She wasn't going to let you down. So scratchy on the back of my throat. Oh, really scratchy. I need to drink some water. I need to drink some of the other tea. Just ooh, no. Scratchy, tasteless, just sour, rancid, nasty little green tea. You, not happy with you. And it gets worse as it cools. This is one of those teas that just it never fails to disappoint at how bad it's going to be. Every time you sip it, you think, oh, that's the worst. And then you sip it again and it gets worse. This is some bad tea. I have nothing redeeming to say about it. I'm trying to find one flavor note in it, and it's got nothing. It's got no flavor. It's just got sour, rancid. Well, that's a flavor, but you know, that's it. It's got no redeeming flavor. It's not even got that sakura blossom sort of, you know, anything. The smell on the dry leaf is the best you're going to get out of this. My advice, if you get this tea, or if you've been gifted this tea, or somehow it ends up in your lap, smell the leaf and then chuck it away, because you do not want this experience. It's even made this part of my mouth, the inside of my lip, like sandy, like sandpaper, dry. My whole mouth is reacting to it. And I don't know if that's the tea or if that's what it's potentially been sprayed with, but it is not nice at all. Smell it, it's the best thing out of it. And it's still not nice, but you know, I'm getting a vague cherry and rancid nuts. And that's the best you can get out of it. Oh no, that's a really bad green tea. I don't know, I don't know what Ocado is thinking stocking this one. Right, scores. So this is a Chinese green tea, low quality Chinese green tea. That's probably about 5 years old and is just a nasty little bugger. I wouldn't wish that on an enemy. So score wise, yeah, okay, not poison. We got to reserve that for something ridiculously extreme. Bong water, no. I mean, come on, I reckon this is sort of in your whole. You see that you can call it tea is misleading, because of course you can call it tea, but I mean, like, you can call it tea. It's like it's all right. It's a decent drink to it, so it's definitely not a 3. Is it above a 2? It's around that 2 mark. No, it doesn't make it. It's a 1.9. A 1.9, a dreadful tea. Chinese green tea. Price point on this should be in negative. They should pay you to drink it. But let's say 5 cents a gram. So I'm guessing what they would charge for it. 7 cents a gram. 7 cents a gram, I think, because it's a green tea, usually more expensive than blacks. So 7 cents a gram, Chinese green tea. Here we go. Here we go. So, green tea, no scope, seasoned cultivar, origin, blah, 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 China, 8 cents a gram. 8 cents a gram. That's 81 cents a gram. Can't be right. Am I reading this wrong? That says 81 cents a gram, but it cannot be 81 cents a gram. I'm pretty sure it must be 8 cents a gram. So it's a Chinese green tea, 8 cents a gram. I guess I have to check. I'll be right back. I'm going to call Celine, okay? Let me quickly call her just to check. I'll be right back.
Hi.
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 Listen, I'm just filming that supermarket tea video. And you know the last tea, that green tea that you gave me?
Yeah.
I think you made a mistake. It was at 8 cents a gram, because you've written 81 cents a gram. Was that 8.1 cents a gram? It can't be 81 cents a gram.
It is.
No, it can't be.
No, I know. When I was working out the pricing, I was like, that tea better be good because that's so expensive.
So you no, it can't be.
No, I know. It's shocking.
Well, how much was it?
Well, it was 20 grams.
Yeah.
And it was £12.
What?
From my memory, yeah.
£12 for 20 grams.
Yeah.
It is a god-awful tea.
I know, I was like, should I get it? It's like quite pricey.
You are kidding me.
Yeah, no, it is. It's shit.
Yeah, it's one of the worst teas I've tasted on supermarket tea.
No.
81 cents a gram.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I better finish this video. I cannot
I want
believe
to
that.
taste it. You made me curious.
You really don't. You really don't. All right. I'll speak to you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. What? Okay. So I've just spoken to Celine and I'm still a little bit in shock. I cannot believe it, but apparently this is the correct price. If there's a mistake, then I'll put it somewhere so you know. This apparently is 81 cents a gram. Now, to put that into perspective, 81 cents a gram is up there with the highest quality Gushu raw ancient tea tree PuErhs. You know, the most prized teas out there are sort of in this range of sort of 50 to 8 to $1 to sort of $1.20. 81 cents a gram is top end teas in the specialty market. So for anybody to charge 81 cents a gram for this is just plain criminal. I don't think I've ever been as outraged, and it's sort of just dawning on me how awful that pricing point. I mean, the distance between what the price is compared to what the experience is just, I mean, it's just in completely different galaxies, you know? That is criminal. That's insane. You cannot charge 81 cents a gram. I feel like I need to reduce the score, but I can't. I gave it a 1.9. Shocking. 81 cents a gram for this. Okay, I've said enough. That's insane, right? Okay, well, there's a twist. So what did we have? We had a 5.2, I believe, or a 5.1 and a 5.6. Decent quality teas. I thought I was, you know, I thought Ocado were, you know, hitting their stride, and I was going to come with the third tea and have a really lovely tea. Celine clearly chose the most expensive tea for the last tea, but little did she know that it is genuinely one of the most disappointing green teas that I've tasted in these supermarket tea reviews at 81 cents a gram. There you go. That's the supermarket tea review. If you want to contribute to these reviews, then you're welcome to send us teas from your local supermarket. It has to be a supermarket and not a specialty tea shop. So send us the teas. Make sure that you write on the packet supermarket teas so that Celine can whisk the parcel away before I open it, and she can sort of keep it hidden from me so I can do blind tasting. And I'll be interested to see what teas are available at your local supermarket. That's it, tea heads. Check out our other videos, taste our teas wherever you're in the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mei Leaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff, not this, and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye. What?